Hello everyone, my name is Jacob, and today I'm back in World of Guns Gun Disassembly. Today I wanted to take a look at a classic pump action shotgun. I wanted to basically take a look at a modern sort of defensive type shotgun, and that's why we are today looking at the Mossberg 500. Now this shotgun is very popular. A very popular choice in this segment. It is competing with some others very similar, with some other very similar sort of firearms, it's pretty cool, it's pretty much because it's very similar to the other pump action modern shotguns. We're only gonna take a look at this one. For the pump action shotgun, just so that that I can show you how they generally work and what they look like on the inside. Now these guns are usually used for a whole bunch of stuff. In between those are like hunting and self-defense, obviously, like sport shooting, basically everything you can imagine. So it's a right multi-purpose shotgun. Now these shotguns have an alloy, which is aluminum receiver, which you can see here, and the modern ones, or the newer ones, have plastic furniture as well, which does not look as good as wood furniture, obviously. Now if I were to go for a classic pump action shotgun, I would probably have to go for a Winchester maybe, or an Ithaca or something, something a bit older, that looks more proper than the new plastic shotguns. And if I went and bought a modern shotgun, with some tactical furniture and stuff, I would probably go for like a real tactical style, with a different style of stock and stuff. But the ones that look sort of classic with the stock contour and the usual stuff are have the plastic furniture. They're very popular, but it's not really my thing. I would much prefer this sort of wooden stuff, at least. So anyway, let's take this thing apart and see what it looks like on the inside. So if I tell you something like about the actual parameters of this shotgun, if you want to call it that, we have a 12 gauge shotgun. It has an underbarrel tube magazine. I'm not sure how many these hold. It depends on the length of the barrel, obviously, and the length of the magazine tube. This one doesn't go full until the end of the barrel. It stops short of the end of the barrel. As I said, there's a whole bunch of configurations of this type of shotgun. This one has a rail on top, which is quite nice for mounting any sort of sight. Many of them don't have any sort of rear sight, they only have a front bead. Those are very popular as defense shotguns. There's a safety at the top of the receiver there. Other than that, not much to it. You load from the bottom, and it ejects out the side, and that's probably it. Let's take it apart then. So the whole barrel assembly comes off, together with the band for the magazine and the front sight. Okay, and then we can take out this pin, and the whole trigger housing with the trigger control basically comes out. The fire control, I guess. We've got this thing which holds it's called an interrupter. It holds the cartridges inside of the magazine, and then got the bolt slide. We got the elevator, that's what moves the cartridges or the shells I should say, from the magazine up into the action. And we've got the bolt, we got the handguard, actually the pump, and apparently we leave the magazine tube in there. Interesting. So now we can take a look at the parts up close. The bolt is a fairly simple thing. I believe it's a tilting bolt design. It has a couple of extractors, as you can see, one on each side. That's about it for the bolt, I think. Obviously it's got a firing pin as well. And then the trigger housing has only got a hammer, and that's pretty much it. I think it's hammer fired. And we've got the we'll take a look at operation later, and you'll see how this thing works. It's quite neat actually. Now if I needed a shotgun for like home defense, for tactical reasons, I would probably go for a semi-auto one, just because of the extra magazine capacity. Well, generally I guess you don't really need a whole bunch of magazine capacity in a shotgun, because obviously it is an incredibly powerful gun. However, it would be kind of cool to have a magazine fed one, like a detachable magazine fed shotgun. I think I would go for that. But maybe the pump is more reliable. I think that's why they're so popular, because obviously you can't beat the reliability of a pump, except if you go for like a double barrel, which is a major hindrance. And they're quite simple as well, so not much stuff can break on them, which is always nice. So yeah, and they're also more inexpensive than like magazine fed shotguns. Now depending on what magazine fed shotgun you want, but generally speaking they are not as expensive as those. So let's go into operation and see how this thing works. Okay, so we can pump it just like it should be done, and we've got a safety here, as you can see, and we can shoot. That's pretty nice. Okay, and we can reload it as well from the bottom, as you can see, straight into the magazine tube. There it goes. Alright, we can change the stock apparently and stuff. So we've got a red dot for it, which does not look the best on this style of shotgun. We have another red dot. Okay, as a muzzle brake. That's a wicked muzzle brake. It's like a double muzzle brake. It's got one before the aft of the sight, and then we have one after it, which is kind of weird. Let's take that off. Okay, we've got a sight. Okay, this is pretty nice sight. This is like a M1 style sight, ghost ring sight. Pretty cool. Okay, we can mount a flashlight as well on the side, which would be nice for a self-defense gun. If you want to use it in the dark, which you probably do, you're definitely gonna need a flashlight for it. Okay, what else can we do with it? Apparently we can change the stock, maybe. Yeah, okay. What do we have to take off? Okay, the sight apparently. Okay, what can we do? Oh, why can I take the stock off? Very weird. Scope apparently is the thing. That's weird looking as well. What else can we do? Sight. How do we... Why can't I put a thing on it, a stock on it? That's super weird. I don't know what's bothering it. Safety shouldn't be a problem. Red dot shouldn't be a problem. Muzzle brake should not be a problem. I have no idea what the problem is here. Pistol grip. Honestly, I have no idea. I do not know why I can't change the stock. It's just grayed out, so literally I don't know what the problem is. So let's just drag the rounds out of it, because reasons. That's all of them. Okay. Apparently we can have a muzzle brake. Oh no, that was the muzzle brake. Is there anything that I'm missing here? Probably. But anyway, you've seen how this works, I guess. Let's just go into the insides, see how it works from the inside. So basically, you got a pump underneath the barrel, as you saw, with a spring. No, actually, that's the magazine spring. The action. Let's take a look at the action. Right, so we've got the trigger here. It's got a hammer spring at the back there. There's the elevator, which is this large piece, which basically tilts up and down, I think. That is also actuated by the pump. We have the firing pin inside of the bolt, and then here you can see the bolt. We've got the interrupter, which is down here to keep the cartridges inside of the magazine. We've got the bolt slide on the bottom there. Let's see how it works. Let's go slow motion and rack it or reload it, and here you can see how they go inside of the tube. It's pretty classic. And let's just go slow motion and rack it. Okay, so it unlocks here, and then it's back. The interrupter holds the cartridge inside. The elevator goes down, and then lifts up, and the bolt can put another round inside of the chamber. That's pretty much how it works. Basically the bolt doesn't actually tilt. There's the sort of whatever it's called, the bolt slide or something, sort of locks it, I think. Let's take a look at that again, because I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure how it works still. Okay, slow motion. Alright. Oh yeah, it does tilt. It just tilts like on the front instead of on the back, like it is usual in tilting bolt systems. Here you'll see how it tilts upwards. So basically it locks in this sort of barrel extension above the action, I guess. Just protrudes, the barrel does. So it's got one locking lug by the looks, and that's probably enough because the 12 gauge has quite a large surface area on the cartridge, so that should be easier to contain than like a rifle cartridge. And that locking lug looks pretty beefy as well, so shouldn't cause too much trouble. The fact that it has an LR receiver also doesn't mean anything because, as I said, it locks directly into the barrel, basically, into the chamber extension, I guess. Do we have a cutaway? Yes, we do. Okay, here you can see some other stuff, I guess. So there you can see the lock and the mag. Mag's got like a follower. Let's rack it again. Alright, so it goes back here, and then the elevator drops, and then goes back up and into the chamber. Seems legit. Alright. I think, look at that shell flying in slow motion. Very cool. I think I've seen enough of this gun probably. I know roughly how it works. So let's take it apart sort of in more detail, and then we'll put it back together, I guess. Let's just exit this because I don't think I can actually change the stock for whatever reason. So let's go into disassembly. I'm not sure how many parts it has. Oh, 71. Oh, that's not terrible. Okay. Right, so let's take out the barrel as before. There we go. And let's do all of the parts. So there's like a choke, which is also called a barrel insert at the end of the barrel there. You can pretty much change that to whatever you like. There's something called chokes for shotguns, and it basically changes the pattern of your shot coming out of the barrel, depending on what kind of choke you put on the or in the end of the barrel. So that's useful for hunters especially. Those things are very common, but you can also shoot slugs, and you don't need a choke because it's just a giant solid projectile, and it's also fine. Alright, so we've taken off the stock. We've got the cartridge stop there. We have the cartridge interrupter here, and then we've got the bolt sled. There we go. Elevator and bolt. Okay, so let's take apart the bolt. We've got an extractor here and an extractor here. Nice. What else do we have? There's the bolt lock. Okay, so only this part actually moves to lock and unlock. The whole bolt does not tilt. That's pretty cool. I think this sort of system was first developed by John Browning, I believe, but maybe his pump action shotgun is different. But those were around quite early, like at the very beginning of the 20th century. Very advanced stuff for the time, definitely. Okay. Actually, they were around even before. I think the Winchester model that John Browning designed was like 1897, maybe. I don't know. I think it was quite early. Okay, so we've got just a bare receiver now. What else can we take apart? Let's see. Oh yes, of course, we've got the trigger group down here. There's a bunch of pins, so let's take those out. There's the mainspring. We've got the hammer. We've got the trigger. Okay, and then we've got this thing, which is action lock lever. Okay, I guess not sure what that does. Probably actuates the action lock, maybe somehow. I don't know. Very cool stuff though. Not very complex at all, which is pretty cool, considering that this is still quite sort of current technology, developed over 100 years ago, and without too much complexity. Right, so let's put this bit back together, the trigger group. Okay, there's a bunch of small stuff here. Apparently the trigger does not go in first. Of course, I've already forgotten how it came apart, which obviously is a thing. Okay, so we've got that thing. What is that? That is the sear assembly. Okay, right, and then we've got the action lock lever. Right, this thing, the trigger housing pin detent. Okay, and then we've got the trigger. Nice. And then we've got another hammer. Yeah, okay. And then we've got the spring, the main spring. There we go. And that's pretty much for our trigger assembly. The bolt is also not too complex. There's a firing pin and the two extractors. There they are. And there's the pin for the locking block, I guess. Okay. After that, we can I don't know, put this on with the safety. Yeah. Okay. And then we can probably put the stock together. That's the buffer plate. Okay, that's cool. And then we can go for the magazine tube and the pump handle. Should put the bolt in and then the bolt slide as well. But maybe not. What goes in next, I wonder? The spring can go in here. And also we can put together the barrel. Okay, so the magazine goes inside of there. And then the bolt slide. Why doesn't the bolt slide go in here? These parts should go in. There's probably something missing. This thing is together. Are these things together? They look to be pretty together. Okay, so we can put the pump on first of all. Oh yeah, of course, the pump actuates all of the internal parts. So that's why we have to put the pump in first, and so that we can move the action basically. Okay, and then the bolt slide goes in there. We've got some other stuff here, the cartridge stop and the cartridge interrupter, and then we've got the trigger housing and this pin, right? And then the barrel goes on the top, and that's it. That is one reassembled Mossberg 500 pump action shotgun. So as I said, this was like a demonstration of the general principles of a pump action shotgun. So I just wanted to sort of inform you on how it looks on the inside, because I mean I was curious as well, because I didn't really exactly know. So it's pretty cool. This is still one of the most popular types of firearms in the world. Very utilitarian gun, very widely used all over the world. So it's pretty cool to take a look at it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, you can press the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my other videos, and I will see you next time.